district, overran it. It's the only place in Illinois that does that. I mean,
Call meeting to order. Please rise and ask to join me in a moment of reflection of the business before us this evening. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Alderman Basso.
Present.
Alderman McGovern.
here.
Alderman Key.
Here.
Alderman Violet.
Here.
Alderman Clifford.
Here.
Alderman McGrogan.
Here.
Alderman Fultonson absent. Alderman Komarski.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Under special presentations, I have one special presentation tonight that I'm pleased to make. I was kind of delighted. I was in Jewel 3 days ago, and the clerk asked me if I would like to make a donation to the Special Olympics. And I said, sure. So he said, well, sign your name on this thing and may put it up on the wall or something like that. So I'm signing it, and lo and behold, whose picture's on there is Tom Strack. So tonight we're here. Tom is a Special Olympic board member for Jewel, and he serves as a global messenger and an athlete, and he's been an employee of Jewel for 25 years right here on 127th Street. And he's participated in the Special Olympics for a number of years, and give him a lot of credit. He's been in figure skating, basketball, and powerlifting, and won numerous awards over those years, and it's been quite an accomplishment to the family and also to the city of Palos Heights. And he's worked at as a bagger there, and many of you know him on 127th since October 7th, it says here, of 1990. Quite a long period of time for anybody to be on one job, and he's knows a lot of people by their first name, knows a lot of residents in town, and really serves as an ambassador when people do come in there. And he's always cordial to people and says hi and how you been and how you doing. And so we'd like to honor Tom tonight by giving him a proclamation. And the proclamation is presented to Thomas Strack in honor of his achievements as the Special Olympics board member, a global messenger, athlete, and Jewel Osco employee for 25 years. The city of Palos Heights is extremely proud of Tom and pleased to extend sincere congratulations to him. Tom is an exemplary role model to the entire community, with my signature. So Tom, would you come on up and congratulations. I'd like to say anything or awards to the public there. And
I just want to say thank you very much for supporting me in the Special Olympics and to the mayor and the city council too. Thank you very much.
Stay right here.
Tommy, congratulations. Thank you. You know this guy, right?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Chairman Gorman. We just got together, so I'm in the second ward where Tommy resides, and we see him all the time. So when we heard about this, we just thought we'd get him a little something to further his ambitions there. So this is for you. This is a card. You can make later.
Yeah, well.
And just a little something from for you, from all of us here. Okay?
Thank you.
More. Thank you.
Great job, Tom. Thank you for everything you've done. All right, continuing along. Under the consent agenda, we've got the approval, we're not going to do the minutes of the council meeting tonight because clerk did not get those out. The approval of payroll and voucher list dated for the period July 2nd, 2015, and a proclamation, as I made earlier, honoring Thomas Strack for his accomplishments. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any seal bids? Nothing?
No, I see it, I'm sorry.
We have a fill-in clerk here tonight, isn't it? Under my report, I'd like to make a motion, move to approve the appointments of James Kirk to the Public Arts Commission to fill a vacancy for the term expiring on January 15th, 2017, and to Edward J. McGovern to the Library Board of Trustees to fill a vacancy with a term expiring 2/25/17. Someone will make that motion.
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Violet. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Grogan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor,
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain on this.
Okay. All opposed? Motion carries. City Clerk? Anything?
Yes. I have an announcement for some public hearings. A public hearing will be held before the Zoning Board of Appeals on Monday, July 20th at 7 p.m. to consider the following petitions. A request for a 30-foot front yard variance to allow the installation of a fence on property located at 13400 Oak Lane, Daniel Rusnick, petitioner. And also for a request for a variance of an additional 56 square feet to construct a 20 by 10 foot shed on property located at 7681 West 124th Place. Also, a public hearing will be held that same day, July 20th, at 7:15 p.m. before the Zoning Commission to consider a request for a zoning amendment to allow a limited use of B1 uses in a B district on property located at 7201 West College Drive, aka Southwick Commons. Ciampos LLC is the petitioner.
Okay, that's it. City Treasurer is not with us tonight. City Attorney? No report. Communications? Citizens
Mr.
wishing,
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
I would like to, at this point, thank our police department for their 4th of July traffic control. They did an outstanding job. And our Public Works Department, Mayor, they were just right there with
Right.
all the barricades and taking care of all the issues at Community Park that needed to be addressed. So for the small departments that we have, I would like to congratulate them on a job well done.
Yeah, along with the Recreation Department for
Yes.
organizing, and I think I'd like to thank all the sponsors too. A lot of money goes from the different various businesses in town are asked to sponsor events such as the 4th of July and the 3rd of July fireworks and like. So thank you. Any other communication? Yes.
Yes, you may or may not know, in Southtown, the regional Payless Heights hosted a world record attempt at the Guinness Book of Record over at Shepherd High School. It was taken by local alumni and runners. There was over 100 runners, and they ran 625 miles, 100 runners in 3 days. And I was privileged, along with Deputy Chief Jakowski, to be witness to that. I donated my 4 hours at the start of it, and believe it or not, they ran through that rain that Saturday night in the cold, and they kept going. I asked them what was happening, what would stop this from happening. He said, just lightning. But the remarkable thing is they beat the record by 8 hours. Oh, wow. So, and this is more or less the shirts they gave us. What says on there, it says 625 miles, 100 people, 3 days, world record, June 25th to 28th, 2015. So I would just like to congratulate the organizers of that for having it in our town and our local high school. And I wish them well when Guinness finalizes all the
Right.
input.
Yep. And once they get their final award from Guinness, we'll have them in maybe and do a little ceremony for them, so recognize them. So
No, isn't it also true that most of those runners were from our community?
Yes, they were all, that's what I mentioned earlier, I thought I did. Anyway, they were all alumni, past alumni of not just Shepherd, but all the local schools in
Right.
the area.
Right.
I mean, the South
the
Suburbs.
two of them are
basically.
coached at Shepherd and
Yeah.
Trinity Christian.
Yeah,
So
they did a great job. They went out there and to break it by 8 hours, I was wondering how that was going to play out. I thought it'd be in minutes, but 8 hours, it was good. So
pretty good.
Congratulations.
Any other communications? Any citizens wishing to address the council? Yes, ma'am. Please, your name and address.
Susan Murphy Jania, 7903 Breakwater Way, Payless Place. I'm sorry, 7903 Breakwater Way, Payless Point is the townhome subdivision. I would just like to know if any of you sitting on the council or a mayor have taken the trail, the new bike trail, whether you've walked it or biked it, to see how dangerous it is on 117th in Southwest Highway or by Manicure where they have to cross. Now, if you have, I'm not being mean, you have to have had a blind eye. Because when you come out from Cal-Sag along the bushes of Fuller's and you get to the street there, 117th, there are white diagonal lines that tell the bikers to cross. Well, when they cross, they go into the grass. Hello, that's not right. So they're turning. They're turning left. They don't know to stay on the left side, on the right side, go down the middle. And they're speeding like no tomorrow. There's a stop sign for them to stop at, but there's also a bike sign that's blocking the stop sign. And there's also bushes that I believe Fuller knew, they're either new last year or this year, that are overgrown, that if you try to stop even with Payless Landing's brick posts, you can't see because of the bush. So now you're creeping out. Even though there's no stop sign, you have to do this because they speed out. If you blow the horn at them because they're just now coming, 4 abreast in the street, a father and 3 daughters. If you blow the horn, I didn't blow at them. They give you dirty looks, they flip you the finger, they curse at you, or they laugh at you. Now these poor people are going down 117th Street. Luckily, the mechanical part of Fuller's is closed. Think what it's like when they're open. Think what it's like when Fuller's Car Wash is open. Think when the people are trying to come off of Southwest Highway onto 117th Street. Think when our private streets of the Landings and Payless Point are being used from Manor Care and the medical building to go out. How much traffic is on that street? And these people have no respect for the stop sign. Now, I'm here by myself today, but I've talked to at least 10 to 12 homeowners in our subdivision who are waiting. It's an accident waiting to happen. And my thing is, I do not want to hurt someone, but I also don't want to lose my house because of poor planning on someone's part. Please, just walk it, bike it, whatever it takes. I read an article in the Regional last week from the 3 townhome subdivisions of Lake Catherine and Payless Landings. Said to my husband, let's go check it out. Let's see what this is all about. Because I don't live just in Payless Point. I live in Payless Heights, and I care about whatever is going on here. So my husband and I went. Go in Lake Catherine. To the right, they're parked on the side of Lake Catherine, not by the houses. We go down, we turn around, because we want to go the other way now. Now, going the other way, which is west, they're parked on both sides of the street. There's a car coming towards us. My husband's going this way, and the bikes are riding with us. My neighbor next door said she almost doored a person on the bike because they have to go alongside where you're parked or trying to get out. And she said, luckily, she put her little dog down first, where she didn't have the door open wide for her, because she said she would have creamed the person that was on his bike. Please look into it.
Yes,
It's a dangerous, serious pathway. I don't know who thought of it, but it was poor planning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Because I'm here on behalf of a small task force about this very issue, and so I think it's just appropriate that I also speak right at this moment in time. And I have handouts.
And your name and address?
I'm Pat Stifter from 35 Lake Catherine Way. I've lived for 16 years in the Lake Catherine Harbors Townhome Association. And I want to start out on a positive note, okay? I want to announce that I'm an avid cyclist. My husband and I clock over 1,000 miles a year on our bikes. We have been watching the progress of the trail eagerly because it is beautiful, and we've been on it probably a dozen times since it's open. I want to thank and congratulate the City of Payless Heights for their contribution to the development of the Cal-Sag Trail. It is truly an asset to the community. Okay, I'm going to refer to the exhibits as I move along, and you can follow my narrative too. That being said, I am speaking on behalf of a task force of concerned residents who live along Lake Catherine Drive regarding the placement of the Cal-Sag Trail on Lake Catherine Drive. Chiefly, our concern is for the safety of all bicyclists. That includes recumbent bicyclists who are poorly visible, as well as paraplegic bicyclists who I've seen, rollerbladers, strollers, walkers, and runners of all ages who are using the multi-use path, as well as the various resident motorists that live in the immediate area, and the many pedestrian and motor visitors to the Lake Catherine Nature Center. As you are aware, Lake Catherine Nature Center is a popular Southwest suburban attraction. Their website boasts, quote, an estimated 100,000 people come to the park each year. With the addition of the bicycle trail that winds its way past Lake Catherine, many more visitors to the area are expected. The Friends of the CalSag Trail website boasts that the trail will, quote, stitch together more than 185,000 people in 14 communities. There is significant potential for increased number of visitors to the area, and we've seen that already. The residents who live along Lake Catherine Drive believe the placement of the CalSag Trail on Lake Catherine Drive is dangerous for a variety of reasons. So I'm referring to Exhibit A and B now. That's an area of special concern. So Lake Catherine Drive is a dead end at its westernmost point, and actually it's a dead end at its easternmost point as well. Tourist car traffic regularly drive westbound on Lake Catherine Drive to the dead end, where they must make a decision as how to go back eastbound. This dead end is the entry and exit point for the Lake Catherine Harbor townhomes. This dead end is also where the multi-path users, including these bikers and strollers and rollerbladers, either are entering or leaving the bike trail. Most frequently, cars execute a three-point turn immediately in front of the entrance and exit of both the bike trail and the townhome association, backing into the flow of bikers, exiting the CalSag Trail, and pulling forward into either oncoming motor traffic or bicycle traffic. The confluence of all of these users of Lake Catherine Drive at the same point and at the same time is fraught with danger. Moving on to the next exhibit, the Illinois Rules of the Road states that the bicycle traffic, quote unquote, must ride in the same direction as other traffic. Cars park along the north side of Lake Catherine Drive, as this fellow citizen just mentioned. Movement of bikers traveling westbound in the direction of traffic places them parallel to parked cars, increasing their risk of injury to dooring. And those unfamiliar with biking may not know what dooring is, but dooring occurs when an unsuspecting biker meets a door opening as he or she travels by it. The League of Illinois Bicyclists research reveals, quote, about 30% of bicycle crashes in dense urban areas are caused by doorings. In order for bikers to avoid dooring, they must ride at least 4 feet away from the parked cars to accommodate the open door. Along Lake Catherine Drive, this puts bikers close to the middle of the road, and also bikers and motorists that are moving eastbound, as well as motorists moving westbound behind or alongside of them. So the point I'm trying to make here is there's lots of people using the road at one time going east and westbound, as well as the bikers who are trying to avoid the door. Further, as Exhibit D shows, Lake Catherine Drive, as it extends west from the entrance of 75th Avenue, has a very curvy course. Visibility and sight lines are poor as bikers move west to the trail access at the western end of Lake Catherine Drive. Eastbound oncoming motor traffic is not seen from at least 2 vantage points. Additionally, bikers unfamiliar with the area may be unaware that the bike path is a multi-use trail on a street that includes car traffic. They are often surprised to find themselves face-to-face with oncoming motor vehicles. Similarly, tourist and visitor car traffic to the area that are unaware that Lake Catherine Drive is both a municipal street and a bike trail may be startled by ill-placed bikers. Lastly, we have seen an increased use of the street primarily by senior citizen walkers as well as parents with strollers who now find it easier to walk on Lake Catherine Drive between the 2 paved trails on the east and west end rather than use the chip trail along Lake Catherine that actually connects the 2. There are 2 other dangerous areas along the trail in Palos Heights that deserve mention. We've already heard about 117th Street, but I'll reinforce that. First, as the CalSag Trail continues to course west towards Palos Park, it lies along 117th Street. The narrow character of 117th Street is dangerous because it leaves little room for the many bikers who are using it as the bike trail and the cars who use 117th Street to enter busy Fuller's Car Wash. It's dangerous to both the bikers and the motorists who are unaware that 117th Street is the CalSag Trail. And second, at the eastern end of Lake Catherine Drive, the bike trail courses around Lake Catherine Nature Center parking lot. The path along the perimeter is not well marked and it's not easily visible, especially when the lot is full. The nice big area down the middle of the parking lot is the most obvious space that leads directly to the bike path on Lake Catherine Drive, leaving bicyclists vulnerable to cars pulling in and out of the parking spaces. This is another confluence of bikers and cars in the same place, Lake Catherine Drive, at the same time. In conclusion, in the interest of public safety, these residents of the townhome associations along Lake Catherine Drive encourage the City of Palos Heights to reconsider their action to have cars, cyclists, walkers, and strollers using Lake Catherine Drive at the same time. The current configuration places all users at an increased risk of harm. We recommend that the trail be moved off Lake Catherine Drive and onto the green space immediately to the north, where a path already exists. Further, as taxpayers, we are in complete agreement with the execution of municipal projects in the most economical way possible. Routing the CalSag Trail on Lake Catherine Drive, however, may only prove to be the cheapest solution in the short run. We fear that an accident involving a biker or parents with a stroller in an automobile may prove dangerous and costly in the long run. We understand that there will be a cost to lay another half mile or so of asphalt to move the trail off Lake Catherine Drive, but we feel the safety of all who use the trail is priceless. Thanks so much for your attention and consideration.
I'm not in disagreement with you at all, Ms. Difford, and I've already, since Friday, talked to Mike Leonard about looking at, before that we talked about it about a month ago, but I gave him kind of a directive to get some numbers together and about moving it, so we'll see. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
You understand that, but we are trying to start some things moving on it, so I understand your concerns.
Thanks.
So. Sure, okay. Thanks. Any other, sir?
Mr. Goldschmidt?
Good evening, everyone.
We have a personal problem.
Your name and address, please.
Huh?
Your name and address.
Okay. Richard Goldschmidt. This is Pat, my wife. We live in Somerset, 12658 South London Lane, Unit 1. Our building is a multi-family dwelling. 2 condos downstairs, 1,300 square feet. And the upstairs unit is 2,600 square feet. We go to Florida in the wintertime, and we came home, and it was like coming home from a nightmare from hell. Because in the interim, the owner of the complex upstairs decided to move to Denver, Colorado, and she rented it out to a family, supposedly of a woman and 2 children, one 15, one 9. But when we got home, we found out that little by little they moved in like 7 kids. And what our problem is that they're jumping on our ceiling, which is their floor. And when we're in the front room, they're jumping on our ceiling. When we go to bed at night, they play basketball, they bounce the basketball, and they run back and forth continuously for hours. So what did we do? We went to the police department, told them our problem. The woman there said to call the police when this happens and they'll respond. They were responding and everything was working out fine. But now they decided that this is a civil matter, and they were refusing to respond to our calls, and we have hired an attorney, but we don't have, it's going to take him time to get this in process. Now, the president of our association has sent the owner in Denver a letter,
And management company.
and the management company, the lawyer, and they are going to fine him. But in the meantime, what do we do? As a person, we're both retired government employees, and I always was thought if you have a problem and you can't resolve it, not to take it in your own hands, but to call the police. When they come, they tell us, well, you know, we have kids at home and we know they jump up and down, but this is not ordinary jumping. This is doing it on purpose to get back at us.
Harassment.
It's harassment type thing. So all we're asking is if you can help us out.
Sure.
I have terminal cancer, and you know, as an elderly person, you can't handle the noise like that.
They told us to move.
Continuously. They tell us to move out, and we should never get
Place in Palos
place
Heights.
in
Yeah.
Palos Heights.
All
We
right.
should have moved
I'll
somewhere.
talk to the police department for you and see what I
Okay,
can do.
thank you.
Okay, you got your name and we'll get
Thank
get back
you
to you.
very
And I
much.
did pick up the code, the ordinance, and nowhere here states anything about noise. It's only with construction.
Okay.
And we did go to ELSA because my husband was an ELSA police officer. And they have an ordinance stating that no person living in a resident apartment or a condo making or cause to be made unnecessary noise or unusual noises which annoy or disturb, injure, or endanger the comfort response of the neighbor.
Okay. We'll see what we can do for you.
We would appreciate. Now,
appreciate
the officers do not want to come back.
And
It's been over 12.
If they state that you don't have anything on your ordinances about
They can't issue
apartments
tickets,
or
nothing.
or rental properties and.
Well, it depends how many families are there too, so, yeah.
May I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
please? First off, have you been to your townhouse association?
Yes.
Okay, did you talk to, and you talked to them at the
Yes.
meeting? And you went through that
Yes.
with them?
Yes.
And did their security help you out in any way?
They don't have security. Where we live, it's just like 12 unit, 12 buildings.
Everybody has a key, security door.
But your board is finding them.
Oh, yeah, they're starting.
They're starting
the
now.
process, and I'm supposed to call the owner of the condo every time we have a situation. But in the interim,
It happens all
what do
day.
we do? I'm saying, we can't go back to the cave, being like cavemen.
In Dr. O'Reilly's office,
Yeah, I'm going to a cancer doctor, and he's going to write also a letter saying I'm having a nervous breakdown over this, and I am. And I'm sorry that this happened, but what are we gonna do? We can't.
Does your
Let me see what I can do.
association allow rentals?
Yeah, they
Yes,
do.
5.
Guess what? The board at the time, they were going to move, so they made this change so they could have rentals, and then they rented their places out to people that were on the board. They're no longer on the board.
Somerset is about 38 years old.
So your owners don't even live? Your community board doesn't even live?
No, I'm talking about the board at the time.
At the time.
That's what they did. They
Oh.
changed the wording to let renters come in, because they wanted to rent
Yeah.
and then leave.
Okay, we'll follow up on it for you then, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, good luck.
Sorry about
Oh,
it.
no, you're not bothering us. That's what we're here for.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good
Yes,
luck
ma'am.
with your health.
I'm Mercedes Rowan. My address is 12111 South Harold Avenue. And this is my story. There is no entrance to the park for people living on the east side of 76th Avenue. Most of the time, the clay path at 121st Street that we used was dense or solid enough that even after it rained, we could navigate it. It would have been nice to have had it improved, but it served us well, and as far as I know, no one asked for anything more. Instead of improving it, a fence was built to block our use of the path that had been in use for far longer than the 19 years I have lived here. At the Safety Committee meeting on June 23rd, we were told that the fence installation was based on an Illinois Department of Transportation, or IDOT, engineering study. Ironically, we were also told that there has not been an accident at 121st Street since the stop sign was removed. It's difficult to understand why IDOT would deem an area unsafe and then not assume responsibility for making it safe. It's even more difficult to understand why a barrier installed by Payless Heights workers nearly 25 feet beyond the street is going to make crossing the street safer. The street can still be crossed. It's just less safe now because we don't have a straight shot onto the path. At the Safety Committee meeting, we were told that Coach Street is the route we should take to get into the park. Personally, when I go to the park, I am walking and it doesn't matter where I walk. However, for me, one of the nicest things about living here is that it has been a neighborhood, that the neighborhood is family friendly and children and adults are out all of the time. People were using that path as they biked, pulled baby trailers, rode scooters, rollerbladed, and skateboarded. Moms and dad pushed their little ones in strollers and pulled their wagons. Our neighborhood family used the park for all the good reason parks are created. How are they supposed to navigate the gravel, grass, and fire hydrant trying to get onto Coach Street to get into the park? If people go to 120th Street instead of 121st, in addition to the 76th Avenue traffic, there are many vehicles turning in and out of the parking lot, including near all the city vehicles. Some of us have been told different things about why the bushes were installed and then the fence. Last year it was said that it was a police decision to install the bushes, and it was also said that the city council wanted them installed. But no reason was given for either. This year, the reasons we have heard were that the police said kids were riding their bikes out of the park without stopping, that it was an IDOT ruling, and that the park district got grant money that had to be used for improvements. Whatever the reason or the excuse was, it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful park, and all we ask is that we be welcome to be there, accessing it the way it has always been accessed, by the path at 121st Street. Please remove the barrier and give us back our access to the park. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Name and address.
Sure.
Rita Houston, 12342 South 75th Avenue. Mr. Mayor, last year on August 29th, I contacted you about an email about the bushes that were planted at the southeast corner of Community Park. At that time, you emailed me back and said, let me look into it and I'll get back to you. It's almost been a year and I have not heard back from you. I have noticed replanting of bushes and now a fence is installed, letting me and the community of Old Payless West know that you don't care how we enter the park. Are we welcome? We are the neighboring walking community of this park. We don't need to get in our car and drive here. We are the closest neighborhood, and yet we feel we are not welcome. Having lived here for 25 years, and now my son and his family are homeowners also in Old Payless West, I am concerned for the safety of my grandchildren, and the natural entrance to Community Park for our neighborhood has always been at this path. Why was it taken from us? I also attended the safety meeting at City Hall 2 weeks ago, and I was told that the stop sign was removed by IDOT, who said it wasn't needed. Was that for the safety of the drivers? Did IDOT take into consideration that pedestrians were using this street as an access to the park? Our alderwoman also mentioned that kids were darting across the streets, and that's why the fence was put up. My kids grew up daily riding their bikes to the park, with no incident that I'm aware of, and now my grandchildren do. Old Payless West has done a huge turnover in homes, and the number of children living here since my kids were young is probably tripled. Give the children of Old Payless West an entrance to their park. We live in a community without sidewalks, and I love the country feel, and I love that our community is also a neighborhood of walkers and bike riders. This entrance was natural for the 25 years I've been walking to the park. I feel the aldermen and administration of the city and you, Mr. Mayor, have let us down. You have made me feel unwelcome, and how can we fix this? Thank you.
My name is William Tracy. I live at 1 Lake Catherine Drive, Palos Heights. I'm here this evening representing two groups of individuals who have an interest in Lake Catherine Nature Center. The first group I represent is the 100,000 plus people who come to Lake Catherine for events or just to enjoy nature. The majority of the people in this group, to me, are nature lovers. I am one of those people. I walk around Lake Catherine and call it my exercise. This walk removes me from a very busy world that we live in. As I walk around the lake, I think. I think about people I've interacted with. I think about my family. I think about things I've read or watched on television, and believe it or not, I actually feel I solve many problems. I frequently wonder how I can find the solution to so many issues by just taking a walk. I feel this occurs because I have removed myself from a fast-paced world. Distractions aren't allowed when I walk around Lake Catherine. I, like many others, need this time to experience some solitude. I need this time to survive. Lake Catherine provides this opportunity. In addition to the 100,000 people who visit the lake, I also represent those people who live directly across from the lake. These residents experience Lake Catherine more than anyone else. We see all, we know all. We don't leave at 5 p.m. or just come for special events. We are here morning, noon, and night. When there is a wedding or party going on at the clubhouse, we know it because we hear the music all evening, and we hear car doors opening and closing as the guests arrive and leave. We also frequently spend Monday mornings picking up litter from that party. We deal with the situation because the parking lot at the east end of the Nature Center cannot accommodate the amount of cars that come to Lake Catherine on weekends. Therefore, the entire street becomes an extension of the parking lot. So you could say to me on weekends, I no longer live across the street from a nature center, but rather I live across the street from a parking lot. I frequently wonder why I have to deal with this parking situation each weekend. Other residential streets in Palos Heights do not deal with parking problems because parking is restricted whenever there's a special event. Parking is never restricted at Lake Catherine. I'm also part of a group that watches the bikers and runners go up and down behind our houses. There are times that I gasp in horror because someone isn't watching where they are going. I see many close calls, and I marvel that no one has been seriously injured. What I fail to understand is how some of these health enthusiasts yell at each other about the beauty of the lake or the wonders of nature, but they do this at 6 a.m. in the morning, ignoring the fact that anyone actually lives in those houses. Finally, I am part of a group that 3 or 4 years ago was invited to a meeting regarding the master plan for the Nature Center. Our input was encouraged, but then we were never invited back to a second promised meeting. I can only assume our input didn't matter because the master plan is moving right along. We look around and say, why is there a need to turn a nature center into a park? We have plenty of parks in Palos Heights, but we only have one nature center. When we think of climbing walls, zip lines, and piers over bodies of water, we think of attractions, frequently found on cruise ships, a vacation destination, or the Willis Tower in Chicago. We want our attraction to be a nature center. We don't need a place to jump, hop, or skip. We want and need a place to escape from everyday life. We want a place to think. We want a place where there's no free Wi-Fi and phones aren't ringing. If we need an attraction, we will go to a park. We will not go to a nature center seeking an attraction. In our desire to become informed, we are still confused concerning who actually is in charge of the Lake Catherine Nature Center. We have met with elected officials, appointed individuals, department heads, and police. We truly can't get a handle on who runs. We do know that the city budgets approximately $140,000 to Lake Catherine each year. We know the city, and not the nature center, has a lease on the property with the Water Reclamation Department. We see city workers cutting the grass and city equipment being used to bring in materials. We ask you, the city, to keep Lake Catherine natural. We don't need attractions. We need a place to think, relax, and reflect. The only thing the Nature Center really needs is adequate parking facilities. The Nature Center doesn't need and shouldn't be allowed to become an attraction comprised of climbing walls, zip lines, floating piers, and picnic groves. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines the word nature as the physical world and everything in it that is not made by people. We, the 100,000 plus people who love having this jewel in our doorstep, request the City of Palos Heights to resolve this current situation regarding the master plan. Allow this area to remain a simple thing of beauty, a true nature center. Let's not turn a nature center into an attraction. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Anyone else? All right. Thank you for all your input tonight. Nope. All right.
Jennifer Schroeder, 12034 South Richard Avenue. I just also wanted to talk about the, I don't have my notes typed up, sorry, about how we were blocked from the park on 121st and 76th Avenue. I agree with the ladies who spoke before. It seems to be a natural entrance to the park. I have 3 children myself, and that's how we enter the park. And we play softball, we join the pool, we use the park and all the facilities. I think it's dangerous not to have a separate entrance for walkers and bikers that were expected to enter through City Hall parking lot. I also think that we just need to encourage people, because the pool parking lot is very small, especially on weekends with all the games and everything. I think that we would just want to encourage people to walk to the park, and now our entrance is blocked. Because to add to it, on the weekends, people park up and down illegally on 76th Avenue, and that just adds to how hard it is to cross the street safely. Also, not to mention how fast people drive down 76th Avenue. So all these things together just make it so difficult to get to the park. And now, on top of that, our entrance is blocked. I also saw I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this later, but I also saw in the meeting, or the agenda here, that there is consideration to take down some of the stop signs on 76th Avenue. I just don't see how that would help safety, because those are the only things that are slowing people down on 76th Avenue. And I just, hope that, and I do realize that, the reason I was told that the fence was put up was to, stop the children from flying out onto 76th Avenue, and you couldn't see behind the hedges. And I think that maybe the fence was just a quick solution and not like a well thought out plan, like with a proper entrance to the park. So I hope that we can find a solution. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
My name's Gail Eckberg, 12030 Richard Avenue, and I'm with the other ladies here. I was shocked, to be quite honest, when I was going to the park, and the reason I bought this house was that there was access to the pool, to the parks, the schools, of course, the good neighborhoods. My husband's family's been here since '72, and when I went to go our regular path with my daughter, I couldn't get into the park. I had to go a quarter of the block down, where I met some other ladies and asked them how they felt walking on 76th Avenue for a quarter block. I don't understand the theory on, as they said it, they did it so that if few kids have been darting out across the street. Yet when I've gone, I've informally asked 10 people. I saw one gentleman with 3 little kids, 4, 5, and 6, walking down 76th Avenue with his kids. That doesn't make any sense to be walking down the street. And then when we called about it, it was said that the bushes were put up last year and they've been vandalized, so therefore a fence was put up, which really sounds like Jen said that it's a reprimand of a fence put up. There's no entry into the park, in which that's what the park is there for, I'm assuming. I don't know where I live if it's not. I'm just so appalled, to be quite honest. And every time I see it, I can't believe that I can't get into the park. I don't understand it. And there's no other way to enter unless if we're to drive with our kids. We need to have something done, and if, after seeing the other ladies, if we have to get petitions or whatever, I don't know, but there has to be something done about it. It's not safe to be walking down, every day, my daughter and I use it, and we walk down 76th Avenue. I don't understand it. So, that's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right.
Hi, my name is Sharon Courtney. I live at 12212 Richard Avenue. I'm in alignment with the fence and the access to the park, but I'm also wondering, what is the best way for concerned parents to work with the community to get drivers to be alert at how recklessly and fast they are driving down our streets? I also have 3 kids. I live right down the street from these 5 children, and to play basketball in our driveway, to be in our front yard, to walk down to the pool, to the park, wherever we're going, I am constantly like the mother hen with watch kids, because crazed moms, teenagers, parents, grandpas, seniors, everybody cuts through 123rd CalSag Road because they're getting to where they need to go. Nobody is paying attention. I've gotten to the point where I approach my neighbors. I have a 17-year-old neighbor who got hit on the corner by my house when I was on maternity leave. And it just seems like, during the school year, we're standing at the bus stop and these people are flying by. Nobody pays attention. There's no stop signs. There's no yield signs. The police department will put those things up. Here's the speed limit 20. You're going 35, 2 feet from stop sign. Is it going to take a fatal accident for somebody to wake up? I don't understand. It's infuriating to me that I am scared to walk down the street. And I can guarantee everybody in this room has had that feeling. And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. I am trying to, let's fix this together. I want to feel safe in my community when I'm walking down the street, especially when it gets dusk and I have a dog and I've got my kids and we're out for a neighborly stroll and someone's going to get clipped. What is it going to take? What is the best process? Somebody tell me. Somebody. How do I do this?
Well, you can go to Public Service Committee, but
Okay.
I don't, putting stop signs in every corner is not going to change it. I've lived here 35
Well,
years. I'm
that's
2 blocks from your house.
I
And I see
understand
people
that.
shooting through there, shooting to the park where these
But
kids
what
are,
can we do? Then
Well, we've got to get people to watch how they drive. I live down 119th Place. I got
every street
the
is
kids from
crazy.
Jimmy John's shooting down my driveway, down 119th Place all the time, while the kids are trying to walk to 7-Eleven. It's just drivers are not, they don't put, plus the fact half of them may be on a cell phone when they're doing it.
well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Right, but
So all we can ask is
Right.
people, we have police on the street all the time. We put the sign,
But
we
so
put
do
we
we
put the
start going
signs out
to the
there.
public safety meetings?
there's-
Is that the best place to start?
You can start. That would
Okay.
probably the best place to start. Yeah. It's concerned. but people don't listen to. They
it's-
drive too fast.
it's
There's no doubt about it.
nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking.
I'm with you.
And I'm not saying it's just it's not
everywhere.
just this
I'm
neighborhood,
in
it's
town all
everywhere.
day long. I drive through town all day long, and I see it.
So the best place for all the people that I've spoken to is for us to go to public safety meetings.
Start there. Yeah.
And
try
get the
to-
ball rolling there.
Try to start some. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm not. I'm with you. It's just I see it all the time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just for your information, we are in the process right now of doing a study with the IDOT of everything north of 127th Street as to what is good, what is bad, what's usable, what's not usable when we were going across the entire city of Palos Heights.
What stop signs you're talking about?
Stop signs, traffic signals,
Traffic
a possible second FAU route could be in the works with it. So that is in the works right now. Once we get the complete, but we have to wait for the results of the
No, I
study
understand
before
that.
we can turn around and do it.
I'd love to put a speed bump on
We're
it,
not a home,
but, you know.
we're not a home rule city. We don't have a lot of the authority that a lot of these other cities and towns have. We have to go through the state to turn around and get a lot of our authority to turn around and do it. Some of our, as far as the streets go, we can get lucky enough, maybe we'll pick up a federal fund to turn around and take care of a street. Federal funds come with rules and regulations. And you have to have a professional engineer licensed by the IDOT to turn around and take care of it for you. And actually, the IDOT is going to have another set of rules and regulations. So by the time it gets watered down to us, we don't have a lot of rules and regulations to go with. But just to let you know, yes, we're trying.
Okay, no, and I appreciate that, and I'm looking for how we can all work together.
Yeah.
Because I know, I mean, everyone I talk to, like, the bus stop situation is just, it's insane. Well, can somebody tell me when that next public safety meeting is?
No, it won't be this month because we're going to be canceling it this month. It will be the 4th Tuesday of August, and that'll be at 6 o'clock at night.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Normal committees, finance, Alderman Fulkerson's not here. Anyone to report? Anyone have? No.
There's no report.
No. Public safety, Alderman McGovern.
Yes, Mayor. I have motion number 7. Motion to authorize the city attorney to draft an ordinance repealing ordinance number 03977 for the removal of the stop sign on 76th Avenue from 121st Street. This is the north and south one. It was removed probably in about 2008, and the ordinance has never been repealed.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Alderman McGovern, second by Alderman Komarski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Secondly, I have a motion to authorize the city attorney to draft an ordinance amending ordinance 08718 by removing the stop sign located on the northbound and southbound on 76th Avenue at 123rd Street and northbound and southbound on 76th Avenue at Ashnala Drive. There was a study evaluation performed by Dave Vandervelde, professional engineer, and the FHA-approved Uniform Traffic Control Manual.
Second.
Moved by Alderman McGovern, second by Alderman Komarski. Discussion? All in
Mr.
favor?
Mayor?
Yes.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to send this back to committee based on some of the comments that these residents brought up this evening. I think it might take it behoove us to give us some additional consideration. Alderman McGovern mentioned that there's another study, unless I'm missing something that
This is
we're under.
part of that study.
This is,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
When that street was reconstructed, that was not the city's decision to remove those stop signs. We took federal money for that project, and when you take federal money, you are required to abide by their rules and regulations, and that was part of the funding. The street that was just performed from, that was reconstructed from 127th to 131st was in excess of $1.5 million. The reconstruction of 76th Avenue from Route 83 to 127th was over $2.5 million, which would have been in excess of what the city could have afforded. So when we took money, it was, I believe, on a 70-30 split. And with that, we were required to abide by certain rules and regulations. The only thing that was relaxed on the northern end of that project was the requirement of curb and gutter. And the reason why that was not performed was because it would have widened out the street, and the curb and gutter would have ended up close to the people's front door.
Right.
That's where the right-of-way existed. So other than that, we met all the requirements to secure the grant. This is one of the requirements. So I would ask Alderman McGrogan to pull back his amendment to this motion because we are trying to comply with the federal guidelines.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, also just something to throw in there is this motion is based on an engineering report that's part of our packet. We're not waiting for anything.
Right.
What Alderman McGovern was talking about is a different study where we're looking at, traffic patterns throughout the city. But this particular street is already, it's been engineered.
Yes.
This is a conclusion of that entire route.
Yes.
Going from College Drive all the way to 135th Street. And one of the provisions that came out of from the engineer was that it was to become a through street.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, before I withdraw it based on Alderman Komersky's request, who I respect, and I'm sure that she knows all the details, and because she's the head of one of the heads of the committee, but I have another idea. What would restrict us from if we actually approve this, and then can we come back and reinstitute a stop sign in these locations? In other words, if we need, if I could just finish, if we need to comply with a federal mandate to get the funds that were given to us, which is significant, I understand that, and of course we don't want to be having them to come back and say we owe that money because we're all residents here. But could we just, do this and then come back, as Alderman McGovern said, there might be another study, and say, let's reinstitute, guess what, maybe that was a bad idea, things come and change, and we then put a stop sign back in if that's what the residents are asking for.
Well, based on that, we would have a stop sign on every corner if we put up stop signs where people requested them. We would have a stop sign on every corner. We have 250 stop signs in the city. Now, I'm not a police officer, but I can ask Alderman McGovern, who is a retired police officer, if it's possible to put a police officer at every corner to monitor these stop signs. It's humanly impossible. Right, but we are in the process, Alderman, of accepting money now for another FAU route, which will take us from 123rd and Harlem to 123rd and 76th Avenue. I would not want to jeopardize that funding over two stop signs.
Okay. Do they monitor that?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes, they do.
I guess the alternative would be, after we do this, is to petition them to see if they, they ask them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really what I'm saying, is let's comply.
We could
I'll pull my
absolutely
motion.
petition, but
Right.
I
I'll pull my
certainly
motion.
don't want
Yeah.
to jeopardize any funding.
But I think
Right.
we should give it a second look,
Right.
just because of the fact that there's two big things here: money and safety. We don't want to lose the money, because that's one of the reasons the city's in pretty good shape. But I think we also don't want to lose any kids or anything either.
And truthfully, our police chief verified at the meeting. He said, I can't promise you it won't happen, but we have not had an accident on 76th Avenue in 5 years. So I think that's wonderful.
I mean, there are things we can petition. One may be access to the park that the ladies were talking about earlier. I mean, as far as on 76th Avenue, or additional stop signs, but we can't do that without petitioning the federal government. To
Oh,
do that.
absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Question.
Cool. Question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion,
No.
motion carries. Governor, that's it?
No, Mayor, as a matter of fact, I've got a message from the police chief where I want to let everybody know that invisible fences cannot be installed on front lawns. And should you install an invisible fence on the front lawn, you could be subject to a fine. So please be cautious with those. Apparently, there have been a couple of attacks from dogs crossing over from the invisible fences. And secondly, I looked into earlier this week through the South Cook County Mosquito Abatement Program, and with all this rain and everything we've had, I just want to let everybody know that they have been taking good care of Palos Heights. They've been checking all the water spots and everything else, and they have been working since springtime to make sure that we have as much precaution as we can possibly have. I've talked with twice with the biologist from the South Cook County Mosquito Abatement Program now, and he assures me that they are doing everything possible to ensure that our mosquitoes are controlled to the best level that they can do it.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. Could you speak to the invisible fences again? Are you talking about new ones or
New.
ones that already exist? What about the ones that already exist?
The ones that already exist, they're already in. I
So
don't
they're
know-
okay?
I don't know of anything if we can turn around and have them removed. I don't know.
I don't understand what's
It might
preventing
be-
someone from putting a new one. Is there an ordinance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's a new ordinance that says,
Right.
Can't do it. It's got to stay
Okay.
with the building
About 2
line
months
of the
ago.
house, like they're treated like
You have to
regular
conform to the
fences.
fence ordinance.
right. Okay.
It's simple.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Alderman Basso.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item number 8, motion to award the contract for the vehicle maintenance building restoration project to the low bidder, Envision General Contractors LLC, in the amount of $100,000, which includes the base bid and the alternate.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Basso, second by Alderman Komarski. Discussion? Roll call?
Alderman Violet?
Yes.
Alderman Komarski?
Yes.
Alderman Basso?
Yes.
Alderman Fulkerson? Absent. Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman McGrogan?
Yes.
Alderman McGovern?
Yes.
Alderman Clifford?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 10, motion to authorize the Director of Public Works to go out for bid for the HVAC system in the computer service room of the police station. Now,
Second.
believe it or not, the police station is already 20 years old.
Moved by Alderman Basso, second by Alderman Komarski. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 11, motion to approve payment less 10% retainage to Crawley Shepherd Asphalt in the amount of $62,587.12 for the bike path resurfacing project.
Moved by Alderman Basso, second by Alderman Violet. Discussion? Roll call?
Alderman McGovern?
Yes.
Alderman Violet?
Yes.
Alderman Basso?
Yes.
Alderman McGrogan?
Yes.
Alderman Clifford?
Aye.
Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman Komarski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 12, motion to approve payment to Copenhagen Construction in the amount of $8,328.30 for work completed on the Lake Catherine Bridge project.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Basso and second by Alderman Violet. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Violet?
Yes.
Alderman Komarski?
Yes.
Alderman Basso?
Yes.
Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman McGrogan?
Yes.
Alderman McGovern?
Yes.
Alderman Clifford?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's the end of my report,
All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Clifford, planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have quite an extensive list here, over 10 items. It's going to take me a little time to read through these because I can't hardly read the thing. I got a thing going on in my one eye here and it's getting blurred. But number 13 is a motion to authorize the city attorney to draft an ordinance to allow a B1 special use in the B district for the expansion of Charter Fitness property located at 6425 127th Street and Indian Trail Shopping Plaza. Charter Fitness of Payless Heights LLC is the petitioner. Docket 2015-4.
Moved by Alderman Clifford.
Second.
Second by Alderman
Question?
McGrogan. Yes.
Alderman Clifford, when this is to expand to the west, right?
The old Hallmark store.
Right. So, did they come and petition for B1 special use when they expanded to the
Over to there, yeah.
other way?
Yeah, there was already B1 use there.
It was already B1 use before they expanded?
No, not at Hallmark, no. But I did believe they went to the Zoning Board of Appeals and where'd they go license?
They didn't go through our committee.
Pardon?
They didn't go through zoning.
Not through zoning, no, not yet. This is just for
No,
the
I'm talking about the
expansion.
expansion that's already been built
I
out.
thought they did a couple months ago when they did that, when they bought the building or rented the building, I was told it. Thought we heard that.
I don't know. That may have been within the percentage that they could allocate under their initial.
If not, I'll just hold this
I mean,
back. I'll refer it till next.
My thing, to rehash something over and over again, bits and pieces of our business district are being, once again, little chunks are being removed from our retail spaces. And Charter's already taken over 2 more stores to the west, or to the east rather, and now we're going to give them another chunk.
Well,
And
we
it just makes the percentage of that shopping center just that much
We
less.
just discussed this over that
Exactly.
cow meeting. anyone was in here before, when they asked the people did they object to it, nobody seemed to be objecting to it, and they thought that because of the amount of people they brought in there would augment what's left of the business up there. So,
No,
I mean, it's your, you know, it's
that's the
I don't know.
what we
To your
discussed at
question,
the committee
you
of the
may
whole
be
meeting,
right.
though.
I'm not going to
is-
argue about it, but the point is, I'll refer this back to committee, put it on hold until I check to see if the zoning request was changed, and that'll be it. So that I'll refer that back to committee, and
Thank you.
the four of us see if that zoning was changed.
Second.
Motion to authorize the city attorney to draft an ordinance to allow B1 special use in the B district for a music school, an instrument repair and rental business in a property located at 6527 West 127th Street at Indian Trail Shopping Plaza. David Cohart, petitioner, docket 2015-05.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Clifford, second by Alderman
Question?
Violet. Discussion. Question?
Is the petitioner here?
Hmm?
Is the petitioner here for that?
I don't know if he's here. Mr. Cohart here? I don't think so.
Do you know if there's going to be any sales there?
Yeah, I just said that.
No.
Instrument repair.
Instrument rental.
Well, no, yes, there is. In the minutes, that should be in the minutes if you read. You weren't at this meeting.
Correct. That's why I'm asking the
So the
question.
thing is, yes, he said there will be some sales. How much? I don't know. Percentage, I
So
don't know.
it's a partial retail business.
Yeah.
It's according to him, there will be some sales, some rental, and some instruction.
Your standard stuff.
I don't know what you're smiling about. I don't know what.
I'm smiling because you're like you're looking at me like I shouldn't ask a question.
No, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just trying to explain what the guy did. You weren't here, and I'm trying to.
I know what he does. I'm clarifying that he's having some sales.
That's what he said.
Because I'd like to vote yes on this, and if
Well-
he has sales,
Then I would just.
then I'm not contradicting myself.
Then I would do that. Vote yes. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm just quoting what the man said, that there'll be some sales. He didn't quote the percentage of it.
Probably musical instruments,
Yeah.
music, that sort of.
Sheet music. At least.
Motion to authorize the city attorney to draft the ordinance for a 5-foot side yard setback for the construction of a garden shed on property located at 12503 69th Court, Craig Moore petitioner's docket 2015-07.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Clifford, second by Alderman McGrogan. Discussion? All in favor?
Question.
I'm sorry.
And that's because why?
There was, they built a new home there. I thought, is Mr. Moore here? Are the Moores here? No.
I know that's a strange property there with the creek.
Okay, first of all, they got it rezoned and had a setback for the house because they're on the floodplain. There was an existing shed there. When they got it demoed, the old shed was a metal shed or something falling down. And the old slab is still in that spot. So they want to put the shed back on that spot, but it requires the variance to do it.
Okay. Answer your
The
question.
backside of the things, it's automatically 5 yards off, and that's the creek.
So this,
There's nothing there but the creek.
this is on the, this would be on the
East.
west side then, by the creek?
No, it's on, it'd be to the east and to the south. That I remember off the drawing.
To the east and south of the house.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
being
house,
built.
yeah, next to it, there's a house next door to it, yeah. And they're over in the back part of the lot, towards the creek, towards the east is where the cement pad is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay. Motion authorized draft an ordinance for a 1-foot 3-inch rear yard setback variance for the installation of an above-ground pool located at 61
You missed one.
Carriage Trail. Chris,
Jack, you missed one. 16.
Pardon?
Number 16, you missed.
Yeah, we
Oh,
skipped
I
16 and
skipped one
17.
here. No, I'm down here now. Motion to authorize city attorney to draft an ordinance for 111 square foot variance and building size to expand the existing garage and property located at 6173 West 125th Street. Bob Koza petitioner, docket 2015-08.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Clifford, second by Alderman McGrogan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Next was 17. Motion to authorize city attorney. This one, I don't know if I should withdraw this one or not, because I was told now, since this meeting, the people have taken down the pool. To where they're moving it to, I'm not too sure. I asked the building commissioner to go look at it, and he didn't get, I don't know if he had time to get over there. And I did ask Mike Perella, who called me back, and was advised just that they were going to move that pool back where they wouldn't require that variance.
Well, my recommendation would be, just to keep things moving, especially since it involves a pool, so why don't we approve it? Because if they don't avail themselves of it, it'll just die.
Well, we can do that, or I can just remove it from where they are bringing it back. See, I'm getting conflicting
Well, then-
stories from Mr. Mike here? Mike in the room?
No.
He told me,
Well-
here's what Mr. Perella told me. He called the people and asked why they took the pool down and where the pool was going to be put. And they said they would no longer require the 1'3" in variance. They were going to move the pool back that much, so they wouldn't require where the existing pool is.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Mayor?
that's why.
If we may, could we just defer to the next regularly scheduled council meeting? All we need is a second on that.
Second.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
Because, and the other number 19 would go with that. Or 17.
Yeah.
18 and 19 would go referred back.
We're gonna go down to 22, right?
No, then there's the
20.
motion. Actually, these are all tied to this pool and
Okay.
everything going down. So you want me to, you want to refer this whole?
It's deferred.
All of them? All those motions?
Yes.
Okay.
The next plan is
Second.
zoning, so that would be
Second.
Okay. All right.
number
They're all
17, 18, 19, 20.
21,
Yep.
22.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Please. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 to 22. Now, are you?
If the petitioners are.
Jack, they're here.
they
Why don't you
can
ask
speak
them?
to
Well,
the-
that-
Here, right.
They're here.
I'm going to ask them a minute,
Okay.
a second. Do you want to step up here then and explain what's going on? I didn't even know you were here.
Chris Copeland, 61 Carriage Trail Drive. For efficiency, if requested for our opinion, motions for the 1 foot and 3 inch setback can be canceled or removed, whatever the proper
Okay.
process is. However, 20, 21, and 22, we would go forward with.
Okay. You need the motion. You need the 3 foot side
Yes.
yard. Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
What was that again?
He needs a 3 foot side yard
They still need
variance.
20. We still have to vote on
21,
20, 21, and 22.
Okay, so we're pulling what I
17,
said
18, and 19.
17, 18.
17, 18, and 19.
Are
right?
withdrawn by
All
the
right.
petitioner. Okay.
Now we're just going to handle, like you said, the 3 foot variation for the deck?
Correct.
Okay. All right, number 20. Motion to authorize the city attorney to draft the ordinance for a 3 foot side yard setback variance on the east and a 3 foot rear yard setback variance. We allow the construction of a 3 foot deck and those setbacks contingent upon landscape screening being installed in the rear yard between the pool and the property line and approved protective screening installed on the east side yard per the request of the neighboring parties at the property located at 61 Carriage Trail, Christopher Copeland, petitioner docket 2015-06.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Clifford, second by Alderman Violet. All in favor?
Question.
Aye.
We got a question.
If the 1 foot is going away, and then can't the 3 feet become a 2 feet?
One's a rear yard and one's a
They
side
moved
yard.
it back, they
No.
just wanted to go 3 feet in there to cover it. What was it, to cover the pool pump or
Different
something
side
like
of the
that?
Yeah. The original request, we looked for a 5 foot variance, and then
Was
we
reduced
modified with talking with the neighbors and landscaping.
It's originally 5 feet.
Okay.
And then when they installed the pool, building inspector went over there, and somehow the installers went past, and that was where the 1 foot 3 came in. Then after the meeting, it was all agreed, and with the neighbors that were here, that everybody agreed that 3 feet would be acceptable, and that's where it stands
3
right
foot.
now.
So then will the deck is in essence going to increase by 1 foot?
No, it'll only be 3 feet from the deck, 3 feet into the
3 feet
side
into the
yard.
setback.
Just 3 feet.
Well, if the pool is moving away a foot, why wouldn't the deck move away a foot and still be 3 feet there by only needing 2 feet of variance?
Because they're asking us to go 3 feet in to for the pump and the rest of the pool that's going around it. They're moving the one back slightly off of it. There's stone all around. Did you see the pictures?
They're basically covering the stone with the deck so that when you walk around the pool, you can like walk on a deck that would be flat, similar to this platform that's in front of us.
I understand.
So they want to, what it basically come out, they want to be 7 feet off the property line, 3-foot variance.
And the aesthetics looks a lot better.
With the added landscaping that's agreed between the neighbors that were here that night.
Okay.
And the pool itself, the physical pool itself, is coming back.
Mr. Mayor, I'll withdraw my deferral.
Okay.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Is the variance for the deck or for the pool equipment?
It's for the deck.
Well, I'm missing the point.
Okay.
If the pool comes back a foot, why isn't the 3-foot
They
deck
want-
coming back a foot?
I can explain. 1 foot is in another direction.
Pardon me?
He'll explain it.
Just gonna explain.
They came in and asked for a variance. I'm a friend of theirs. I'm a
Right.
retired builder, and I'm helping them coordinate the project. They came in and asked for 5 foot to the zoning board meeting, 2 meetings back, and they recommended only 3. They want to try to put a 5-foot deck around it so that they can have access to clean it, a larger deck, and to put some furniture on there. So with only the 3 foot, I came and talked to Mike Perella. I said, Mike, if we move the pool back 2 feet and have the 3-foot allowance into the setback, that'll allow us to put a 5-foot deck around the pool. Is there any kind of problem with that? And he said, absolutely not. He said, this issue, we're granting you 3 feet. If you want to move the pool back 20 feet and build a 15-foot deck, what this issue is about is 3 foot. So they're moving the pool back 2 feet, which takes you out of the 1'3" that you're concerned about, allowing for a 5-foot deck and a railing fence around the deck.
Right.
See, the word of confusion's coming in when it all got moved, and there was another meeting, which is a bunch of talk and pictures being sent, and then you see the pool, didn't see a pool, and then all I knew they was moving that back, and they went and saw they needed a 3-foot variance. Now, whether they put a 4-foot or 3.5-foot deck,
gonna be
it's
a
not
5-foot
going
deck.
past the 3 feet.
It's going to be a 5-foot deck.
That is
It'll be a
correct.
little bigger.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for the clear explanation. That's, that makes sense.
I did talk to Mike Perella, that's why I came in, so thank you.
Motion to, next is motion to adopt the ordinance for a 3-foot side yard variance on the east and the 3-foot on rear yard setback variance to allow for the
Jack, you
installation.
need to
Gotta waive the
waive the
rules.
rules, man.
Oh, you want to waive the rules here. I missed that one. Okay, there's motion then. Do you want me to do this all at once at the end then? Just waiving
Make
the
a
rules?
motion and waive the rules.
Pardon?
Make a motion and waive the rules.
Do you want it on just that subject or the next one's tied to it?
No, the next one's to adopt.
Two different motions.
All right. Motion to waive the rules and adopt the ordinance.
Question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I need a second first.
Second.
Okay.
I don't know how we can waive the rules when, because if we waive and then adopt, we're granting them permission to do it.
Right.
And it's based on them putting in all the landscaping.
It's all part of the
So it
same
would seem to
ordinance.
me that before we could actually vote on this, the landscaping should be in, and our building commissioner should be over there to make sure that that's done.
Who's not gonna put the landscape?
Well, they can't put it in till after they put the pool in.
And they tie it all together.
It's all
in
together.
one. It's all subject, that comes out of the
But if we
building
vote
department.
we voted to give them the 3-foot thing, right?
Right. They got a
But that-
3-foot.
Or to have it written up, which,
That was just.
To draft it.
Drafted. Now we're
No,
just
no.
saying to expedite the process since it's a pool, and it's
passing
the summer, they want to use
voting
it
on
now
the ordinance.
instead of
I
December.
mean, is there some reason it's gotta be expedited?
Well,
The
it's
lady-
summer.
the
90 degrees out.
The lady asked because of what was going on and all the complaints from the neighbors and all the thing coming back and forth that night, back and forth, and the lady asked, is there any way that it could be expedited if it's approved so the kids could get some use out of it in the summer, so.
Yeah.
I'm only asking because on multiple occasions, several of the aldermen have brought up that we're
I
not
don't-
supposed to waive unless there's a
Just a
hardship.
request, it doesn't matter to me one
supposed
way
to
or
grant
the
a
other.
variance, there's a
If you don't
hardship.
want to vote for it, don't vote for it. It was a request by the petitioner.
Mr. Mayor, call the question.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay,
Now go.
No, adopt.
Motion to adopt the ordinance, the 3-foot side yard setback variation on the east and a 3-foot rear setback variation to allow for the installation of a 3-foot deck and setbacks contingent upon landscape screening being installed in the rear yard between the pool and the property line, and approved protective screening installed at the east yard per the request of the neighboring parties at the property located at 61 Carriage Drive, Chris Copeland petitioner, docket 2015-06.
Second. Moved by Clifford, second by Alderman Violet. Discussion.
Question. It's not a 3-foot deck, it's a 5-foot deck now.
The variance is 3 foot.
The variance is 3 foot. It has nothing to do
It
with the deck.
says for the
It's 3 foot
installation of a
variance.
3-foot
All right,
deck.
whatever. All right. Change.
He can, it's 3-foot variance.
Okay. Roll call.
Yeah, a point of order?
Yes.
I think Alderman Basso's right. It should be in the second sentence.
Right.
A 3-foot
Second-
rear yard to installation of a, because all in a 5-foot deck.
Yeah, whatever.
Then amended to read for the
It should say-
installation.
it
Is
should say
that gonna be
deck.
5 feet? Where did the guy go? Is that what you're putting in there?
It could be,
That should be. What is it gonna be?
Just say deck.
build it deck.
Doesn't matter. We're approving the variance, not the size of the deck.
Just say
Yeah.
we just want the 3-foot variance.
Right.
In the side yard setback.
Just put
Then
deck
I'm
on
gonna-
there.
Yep.
It's a 3-foot rear yard setback variance to allow for the installation of the deck, and those setbacks contingent upon the landscape screening being installed in the rear yard between the
That's
pool and
right.
the property line, and approved protective screening installed at the east side yard per request of neighboring properties at 61 Carriage Trail.
Okay.
Docket 2015-06.
Okay. Roll call.
Alderman Basso.
Aye.
Alderman McGovern.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Violet.
Yes.
Alderman Clifford.
Aye.
Alderman McGrogan.
Yes.
Alderman Kamara.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's it.
All right.
Yes,
Alderman
on the
Key.
second too. I think
Yeah, we got one.
you got one.
Alderman Key.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to remind people that July is Parks and Recreation Month. And with that being said, I just want to say thank you to Mike Leonard, who is our Parks Director. He not only does a beautiful job running our Parks and Rec, but he's very enthusiastic and has a passion for that work. And I, with working with him, really appreciate that. And I would like to compliment our police and public works departments, as did Alderman Kramarski, on the work that they did during the fireworks and the parade. Those activities went well, and we had beautiful weather, and so that was awesome. I'd like to say publicly that I completely agree with the two ladies that spoke about the bikes and the use of the trail. On the day that we dedicated the trail, as we were waiting for our dignitaries to get there, I couldn't believe the number of bikes that were coming through the parking lot, because it's and I talked to Mike at that time about getting some painted logos when you're coming from the east to the west and you're coming off of the west part of Lake Catherine, to point where the path is, because it really needs, the bikes are supposed to be to the south of the parked cars in the parking lot, and it's not clear, and it is a street, but the whole path has been engineered, so it wasn't a willy-nilly kind of thing, let's just do it. It was engineered, but I completely agree with both the street over by Fuller's Car Wash and by Lake Catherine, and I will continue to talk to Mike about that and see what our, and I know that you as well have had discussions about this, so this is not a foreign subject to us, but I will try to do more research on that and try to push forward on that. And I believe that concludes my report.
Alderman Komarski, Roads and Construction.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Residents involved in the road program will be receiving a flyer in their mailbox. Pardon our dust. You are involved in a road program. If you receive this, please bear with us for any inconvenience, and look forward to having a nice street to drive on. And that ends my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Alderman McGrogan, license permits.
Mr. Mayor, the only item we have to report on is that there's about a week left. July 16th is the last day to purchase the city stickers. After that date, you're subject to a fine that doubles the payment. That's the end of my report.
Water and Sewer, Alderman Violet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Number 23 on the agenda, a motion to approve the first quarterly payment to Utility Service Company in the amount of $429.75 per the terms of the contract for the Westgate Water Tower painting project.
Moved by Alderman Violet, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman McGrogan, was it? Roll call?
Alderman McGovern?
Yes.
Alderman Violet?
Yes.
Alderman Basso?
Yes.
Alderman McGrogan?
Yes.
Alderman Clifford?
Is there a logo going on this, or just straight painting?
Just painting.
Huh?
Just painting.
Okay, yes.
Alderman Key?
Yes.
Alderman Kromarski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's the end of my
All right. Business Economic Development, Alderman Key.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to remind everyone that on July 16th is the Classic Car Show. And along with that is a split the pot raffle that's ongoing, and you can buy tickets all over town. Typically, there's a raffle for a classic car, and this year they're doing something different. And it's the tickets are only $2, and that money is used for the beautification efforts, and usually they'd make donations with that money to like Catherine and other places and other charities. So please come out and enjoy the car show. And that concludes my report.
Alderman Fulton is not here. Any old business?
I want to make a comment. So several of the residents made comments about the entrance to the park. This is a very sticky subject, but that's not an entrance to the park. It has never been an entrance to the park. Now, the community may have treated it as an entrance to the park, but it is not an entrance to the park. And as Alderman Kromarski pointed out, 76th Avenue is not owned by us. I mean, it's an IDOT street, or...
It's actually,
well,
me, it's our street.
Well, yes, but it's because of the way it's been funded. If we chose tonight to put an entrance in that same location, IDOT would not allow it, because you cannot have a path be put into a street, and we would be open up for litigation like you wouldn't believe. And so now, to the point though that we need to take another look at the entrances to Community Park, I'm going to talk to Mike about what we can do in terms of entrances to that park, and making it clear where we want our residents to go and keeping it as safe as absolutely possible. So I will go down that road to investigate that.
Alderman?
Yes.
Unless you have sidewalks.
Yes.
And the sidewalk goes across 76th Street to another sidewalk. That is the only way you can get an entrance into that park.
Right.
At 121st. No, you would have to build a complete sidewalk on both sides of the street,
Yeah.
which would never work.
Yeah, you can't have a sidewalk going into nowhere, but...
Because you would be encouraging people to go out into the street, and if they got hit,
now,
it would be on
again,
us.
as I said earlier, we
would
can
have to go
petition
through-
and ask that we
Yes,
do,
absolutely.
we can ask them,
And
they
you would
allow
have to
it.
we would have to redo all the sewer lines, all the irrigation ditches, replace them with sewer lines, go through all the landscaping like they did between 131st Street and 127th Street, and reconfigure a street that was only reconfigured 7 years ago.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
It is not something that can be done,
Right.
is all it really comes out to.
Yep. And that's all I have to say.
Any other old business? New business?
New business.
Yep.
I took advantage of a program offered at our public library a week ago, a program given by the Cook County Recorder of Deeds. And they now have a free property fraud alert program. That's no cost. You just have to join up voluntarily. If there's any actions ever taken on your property deed, a lien or a quitclaim or a supposed sale that you're unaware of while you're living in your house, you will get flagged. You'll get notified immediately either by email and or U.S. mail. And all you have to do is go on and sign up. It's just on the news last night. They arrested a man for moving into the this spa in a 30,000 square foot mansion. And he was living there. And there have been cases where people come home from extended vacations to find some other family living in their home and the locks changed, et cetera, et cetera. So I picked up a bunch of brochures if you'd care to sign up or read about that program. Secondly, those of you that are fortunate enough to have paid your mortgage off may be receiving occasionally mailings that solicit for $89. They'll get you a copy of your deed. And you can do that. That's not a fraudulent business, except you can do that for like $20 if you call up this office. So no need to spend $89 and you can get a better deal on it.
Online for $2.
Right, online.
Secondly, I visited Mr. Moe's, and excellent food. Been a while since I've been there. And
did you write the article for the regional or not?
And I know that you're a great fan of Mr. Moe's, but
$2.99 hamburger.
$2.99 hamburger can't beat
for
it.
lunch, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Can't beat it. So if you haven't been there in a while, make sure you get over there. And little did I know, until a friend of mine played in a band there, they do have live entertainment at Mr. Moe's.
I'm not there at night.
And they have live entertainment at Royal Berry. They have live entertainment at Sambuca's. They have live entertainment at Zachary's. And it would probably be a great project for someone on the Economic Development Committee to put calendars out that register the dates and the events that are happening in each one of those businesses.
I think it should be you.
Thank you.
You're the one that's out at all those places, it seems like.
And that's that. Thank you.
All right, any other old business? Citizens wishing to ask questions? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody.